She raised kids by day
Paige was a soccer mom.
and peddled fantasies by night.
Hello, you've reached Models Inc.
But this loving mother's double life caught up with her, leading to a shocking disappearance.
Sorry, Mom, you are really, really mean. You said you would be back when we were dark, and you haven't even been back.
She would never have not come home.
A bounty of suspects,
I wouldn't kill anybody over sex.
and a mystery that would take nearly a decade to unravel.
We were still stuck with the reality that we didn't have a body.
Paige Birgfeld, a 34-year-old mother of 3 young children, was living the picture-perfect life.
Paige was one of those people that just exuded happiness. When she showed up, you knew she was going to show up with a smile because she just had that in her all the time.
Paige was always very big about having her family on display.
Her husband, Rob Dixon, came from a wealthy family, and settling in Grand Junction, Colorado, Paige enjoyed a nice life.
He was wealthy, so they bought the house in Grand Junction and then added to it.
But paradise was not without its troubles.
They had somewhat of a tumultuous relationship. He would yell loudly. He would make threats or statements that would cause people to be very concerned.
Then, one October evening, Paige made a distressing 911 call.
911, where's your emergency?
My husband and I were in a fight. He wanted the children to stay with him, and he said that I would come home and find them all murdered.
What's your name, ma'am?
Paige Dixon.
The situation was diffused by police and no charges were filed against Rob, but a year later, Paige placed a second call claiming physical abuse.
After the second incident, I set up a bank account. It was getaway money. I wanted her to be able to pick up and leave with the kids if she needed to.
After 8 years of marriage, Paige and Dixon divorced, but now she faced the burden of maintaining a luxurious lifestyle on her own.
She had a pretty nice house, I think 4,000 or plus square foot house, and her 3 kids slept in her bed with her every night. That's really who she was.
She had quietly struck up a romance with her first husband, Ron Beigler, a high school sweetheart she briefly married after graduation.
He was the first big love.
Beigler lived 250 miles away in Denver, so the two arranged to meet halfway at a rest stop in the town of Eagle. The young mother would never be seen again. Thursday, June 28th. Paige and Beigler enjoy a picnic lunch before she begins the 2-hour drive back to Grand Junction around 7 p.m. By 11 o'clock that night, she still wasn't home, and her young kids were growing distraught. You can hear the worry on this voicemail.
Hi, Mom. I was just wondering when you were gonna get home. Bye.
Paige's father, Frank, gets a call he can still remember as if it were yesterday.
And he said, "Are you Paige Birgfeld's dad?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And then he said, "Did you know she's missing?"
Paige is 7:20 on Saturday. Give me a call on my cell phone to stand by.
She would never have not come home. So everyone's a suspect, and ex-husbands immediately are right up there.
Detectives seek out Ron Beigler in Denver, Paige's last known contact.
Well, he was the last one to see her, which made him a person to talk to.
But after looking at phone records providing him an alibi, her first ex is quickly eliminated. Cops turn to Rob Dixon, Paige's second husband, who is now living in Philadelphia.
Their breakup was not the most amicable.
But Dixon was also one of those making distress calls to Paige's phone.
Paige, if you get this, please call somebody. Please come home. Please tell us that you're all right.
Police quickly confirmed that Dixon was in Philadelphia during the time of her disappearance. They soon hear that the last time Paige's close friend Barbara Campbell saw her, Paige confided she had an ominous feeling.
She was worried because she felt that something bad was about to happen.
Just what and who was Paige so afraid of? Not accepting a dead end, police dig into Paige's phone records and make a shocking discovery, one that turns the case upside down.
Hello, you've reached Models Inc.
In addition to her work as a dance teacher, representing a pampered chef, and pushing nursing slings, Paige Birgfeld was selling sex, operating a secret escort business called Models Inc.
He said, almost as an aside, did you know she was operating an adult business? To which my response was, I'm not sure what that means, but no, I didn't know.
Then 3 days after Paige went missing, another break in the case.
Hi, I'm at the corner of 23 and Logos, and there is a car on fire in the parking lot.
Paige's car is found torched. While any physical evidence appears to be destroyed, detectives do make some suspicious discoveries. For instance, the driver's seat is all the way back, even though Paige is only 5'4", and a day planner survives the fire, but Paige's are torn out. The community of Grand Junction rallies around the Birgfeld family for a massive search.
We probably had 150 people that first day.
And volunteers out searching stumble on a 15-mile stretch of Paige Birgfeld's personal items strewn along the highway just south of Grand Junction.
They also weren't the type of items that Paige would throw out unless she really needed to. They were blank checks on her business account. They were her kids' medical cards.
Investigators needed another break, and they were about to get it.
One of the first things we did was look at the phone calls she had made the day she went missing.
One of those calls to Paige, or Carrie as she was known at night, was from a man named Jim who called while she was visiting Beigler.
Hello, yeah, this is Jim. Just calling to see if Carrie was available tonight.
Police traced the number to a track phone purchased 2 days earlier at a local box store by the man in this surveillance video. Detectives finally managed to find Jim, whose real name is Lester Jones. He works across the street from where Paige's car was found burning.
Have a seat.
Officers are anxious to have a little chat with Lester Jones.
Does it bother you at all that somebody's missing? And you know that somebody could be involved in this service. And you know you use the service. Yes. That should. Sure should. Does it make you nervous that we may think you did something? No. It should.
The search of his workplace, a local RV shop, reveals more startling evidence.
He also had the track phone packaging for the track phone that was used to call Paige. He had bras that happened to be the same bra size as Paige.
Other suspicious items include a stash of Viagra, 2 male wigs, and a food scale from Pampered Chef, Paige's employer. Yet, there was one key piece of evidence that left Jones a free man.
The absence of the body certainly muddies that water.
That muddy water would finally give up its secret.
A hiker in the Wells Gulch area just happened by a human skull, and when they unearthed it, it had duct tape that was sort of around the jawline area and around the back of the head.
A team of forensic examiners soon find more bones strewn across a mile stretch of the creek, and they quickly determine they belong to Paige Birgfeld.
I would tell you without a doubt, a piece of me is missing. Part of my life is gone.
For prosecutor Dan Rubenstein, the crime scene paints a gruesome, if incomplete, picture.
The reality is we don't know exactly how Paige died. What we do know is that she was kidnapped, and ultimately, through a mountain of circumstantial evidence, we're able to determine that Lester Jones was the only person who could have done it.
Please rise for our jury.
But shockingly, Jones's first trial ends in a hung jury. A determined prosecutor took another shot.
Every life matters, and it bothered me the idea that people might think that because Paige had this double life, that she didn't deserve justice.
This time, his first witness, Paige's daughter, Jess.
When was the last time you saw your mom?
The last time I saw my mother was on June 28th. before she went to work.
Jones's own wife, a reluctant witness, gives key testimony about the night Paige's car was found on fire.
Was it suspicious for you when he left that evening?
Yes.
Can you explain to the jury why that was suspicious to you?
I had suspected him of other women, and I thought he was going to meet someone else.
After 5 weeks, the moment Frank Birgfeld had been waiting 9.5 years for. This time around,
We, the jury, find the defendant, Lester Ralph Jones, guilty of count 1, murder in the first degree.
the sentencing is just as satisfying. Life in prison.
It was unbelievable elation that he was really going to take the blame for this and that we had an answer.